Good morning, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jen Robichaud. I'm a longtime Austin resident. I'm speaking on item 2, the proposed amendments on lobbyist regulations. As a taxpayer deeply interested in government transparency, I see the city stripping away key accountability measures. This ordinance, originally acted in 2016, set a high standard for Austin by requiring sign-in sheets for lobbyist visits, something no other major Texas city mandates, a way for Austin to be a leader in government transparency and something that its residents highly value. These sheets allow city officials to independently track paid influence, providing a verifiable cross-check against lobbyists' own reports, ensuring accuracy and exposing omissions. This also gives city officials clarity in understanding how money is being used to influence their decision-making. The proposed revisions would eliminate these requirements, shifting the onus of reporting to the lobbyists, creating serious risks. Without independent records, what incentives do lobbyists have to report honestly? City officials have a duty to know who's influencing their decisions. How do you know if you're not tracking it? Removing this checkpoint erodes public trust, and ignorance is no excuse for unethical behavior. So why make it harder to do the right thing? The good news is that we don't have to choose between efficiency and transparency. Instead of gutting these protections, we can adopt smarter modern tools which are readily available. Digital forms are ubiquitous, and many businesses interested in robust data use these to track their visitors. Instant data collection removes the headaches of paperwork, enhances the auditor's reviews, makes public information requests simpler, and builds confidence that ethics are enforced. I'm asking you today to prioritize ethics and transparency. Keep the internal tracking requirements and instead pursue efficient digital alternatives that make data readily available. Thank you.
Mr. Bowen.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Bowen, member of District 8. I did remember this time, Mr. Mayor. Like my friend here, Ms. Robichaud, said, I have an issue regarding this over transparency. I understand that there's a need and there's some changes in here, but what really caught my eye is that removing requirements. This is regarding regulating lobbyists and changing some of the definitions around. But I need to ask this one question first. What is the line between a lobbyist and an activist? I mean, do we have people here that have come and spoke in front of this council, in front of this body, that have received some type of payment and just have spoke? More than likely, yes, but they're not registered. So what is the definition of trying to make sure people get registered? One of the other issues that I have is this, is that even in these reports that are supposed to be done every quarter, what if an item gets left off? How do we know through any other ways that they may have made a visit to whatever person is the case? What if that gets left off? Are there any punishments? Are there any rules that account for that? It talks about enforcement. Okay, what's the enforcement? You're not allowed to have supper tomorrow? I mean, we really need to be looking at this. This body has talked about the need to be more transparent. How about more accountability? So I see issues with this in a matter of what we're trying to streamline this, but I believe that there's issues that need to be discussed, need to be very public in order to do this, because even the auditor gets to look at this every 3 years. That's a long time between audits and trying to find out what has actually happened in that process and what has been affected that affect us as taxpayers and as citizens. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
We have one remote speaker on item 2, Tracy Whitty.
Good morning. Thank you for your public service and for considering how to improve requirements for documentation of meetings between decision makers and lobbyists. A primary goal of switching from an at-large council to a 10-1 system was to promote representation that's more accessible and responsive to smaller geographic constituencies. One very visual way to document a council office's accessibility to its constituency is to keep digital sign-in sheets that record the names of visitors in real time, whether they're compensated for the activity and by whom, and of course the municipal question at hand. And then post interaction logs or calendars online in a searchable format as close to real time as possible. Include virtual or remote meetings as well as in-person meetings inside and outside the office. Include informal, unplanned interactions. Expenditure of office resources is worth it. Why would a district representative abrogate her right and cede her responsibility to convey to the public with whom she or her staff spoke about what? Why let lobbyists tell her story? Unless the representative's own complete records would show her time disproportionately spent with lobbyists rather than with constituents. I've heard that sometimes council offices don't realize they're meeting with a lobbyist. The office can access a searchable lobbyist database and require people with whom they meet to certify whether or not they're attending a meeting for compensation before they set the meeting in their calendars. If an error somehow occurs, an online interactions log searchable by the public makes it more likely that oversight will be corrected quickly. Today, please raise the bar for yourself to provide complete and accurate reporting of your meetings rather than denying your critical role in ensuring transparent government that's accountable to the people. Your authority to lead the city rests in how you are seen to move through the world as you carry out your duties. It begins with your commitment to transparent government that leaves as little doubt as possible about why you take the actions that you do on behalf of the people. Thank you.
On the consent agenda, item number 2, to my understanding, what this item does is shift responsibility from council offices to lobbyists. Somebody made mention earlier that other cities, peer cities, don't keep these logs, but the reference was, I think, intended to say we somehow are more transparent in that way. I don't think that's the case at all. I think we're more inefficient in that way. And so I appreciate that we're making the necessary changes to offset that responsibility. You guys don't know this, but council offices with those peers, I often encourage peers because I want you guys to know everything that it is that you'd like to know. But I also need you to understand, when you say somebody didn't answer the phone at the office or this, that, or the other thing, peers take forever. Anything that will help to streamline that process so we're not losing office members throughout the course of the weeks, processing peers, redacting, anything that makes council offices work more efficiently, I promise you guys, you'll get a better work product out of those council offices. So I'm happy to see any item that comes forward that helps us be more efficient with the use of the time and spend more of it working on constituent issues. I'd also like to speak to item number 3, the vortex.
On the consent agenda, to adopt the consent agenda as read. Is there anyone wishing to be shown abstaining from voting on an item on the consent agenda? Anyone wishing to be shown recusing themselves from a vote on an item on the consent agenda? Anyone wishing to be shown voting no on any item on the consent agenda? Councilmember Fuentes.
Yes, if I can be shown voting no on item number 2.
Councilmember Alter. Anyone else wishing to be shown no voting on any of the items on the consent agenda? All right, without objection, the consent agenda is adopted with Councilmembers Fuentes and Alter being shown voting no on item number 2. Members, that concludes the consent agenda. Without objection.